This is Flowery Orchard. As of recording this, this is the 24th hardest map on the map list, which is a list of the top 50 custom maps that have been beaten legitimately on CHIMPS mode. And today I am going to be black bordering it. When this run was done, it was the highest list map black border, but recently it has been beaten. This is still the second hardest list map black border though. So let's get into the run. It's pretty interesting. The main gimmick of this map is that it is small towers only, so you can not place every single tower. The towers you can place are towers with small footprints, like darts, tacks, glues, ices, snipers, ninjas, and I'm pretty sure that's it. I don't think I have missed anything. Oh yeah, also alchemists. You can only place these towers, and that means that it is much harder. So here I go with a pretty standard 3 dart into triple sniper early game, and then I go for a pretty unconventional pick if you're trying to beat the map normally, which is a 201 ninja, but for the sake of black bordering it makes sense. And then now my main goal is to build into a 024 full auto sniper with shrapnel before round 40, as that is the only real consistent way to beat the early mid game. And I still do need lead popping, so I do get FMJ on 2 snipers. So for round 40 here, I do in fact alch buff the shrapnel full auto. This might make it slightly more inconsistent, but it's good enough to where I think it is worth it. And just to prevent any RNG, I do get a 032 bouncing bullet here, and I do alch buff it as well. This is mostly just to save up to the main tier 5 damage dealer of this run, which is going to be the Bloon solver. Yes, this will be a solver-based strategy, kind of boring, but that is by far the most consistent on a map like this. The only real viable strategies for this map specifically are either like sniper spam or the strat that I'm doing here. So I start to build into the Bloon solver here, and the mid game is like completely free, and I do end up affording solver at like a reasonable time. I do start spamming like embrittlements and overdrives though. If you haven't played a small towers only map, you might be wondering why, and that's because embrittlement is like one of your only 2 decamo options, the other being ninjas. So like why would you want to just use embrit, especially if you have a sabotage up, because that will make it decamo every DDT. And then for like round 100 damage, we're running a solver based strategy, and our only good round 100 damage is just spamming overdrive. And I start to do that in the mid game because we're still lacking quite a lot of Moab damage too. This causes me to get a pretty late solver on 81, but I think it was worth it just to make it more consistent. 77 was probably the most RNG round in the entire, like, run by a long shot. It was the only round that had any actual RNG that I died to. I did die to 77 once. I'm not exactly sure how. I think I just popped too many things at the same time. I don't know exactly what happened. Here I just barely survive. And then 78 also had a little bit of RNG, but I didn't encounter it in any of my, like, actual runs. I did encounter it in my first test run, though, so... I finally get the Bloon solver here on round 81, and the rest of the run was pretty easy. Solver plus Brit Drive is basically just the way to beat this map, because Brit Drive deals with, like, the ZOMG and BFB layers, while Solver takes care of the rest. I do end up going for 2 Sabotage Ninjas, because that is the only way to actually make round 95 consistent, because if Embrittlements don't have a Sabotage up, they cannot consistently decamo every DDT on this map, which is annoying, so I did have to buy double Sabo just to make this, like, somewhat consistent. I even use it here on 90 just to make sure I don't randomly lose to something. It's always possible. After I get the second Sabo, I get an unstable concoction, or no, I don't go for the concoction first, I go for the Glue Storm first. I need the Glue Storm for specifically 98 and 100, those are the only 2 rounds where it really matters, so I start building into it now, just to have Glue Strike for any other tough round. I did like to use Sabotages on ZOMG rounds, because that would allow the Brit Drives to actually pop the ZOMGs more consistently. So yeah, it worked. Here on 97, I do end up buying an unstable concoction. Concoction is very good, especially with Bloon Solver, because it can very easily break down the BFB layers and MOAB layers, so Solver can just kill the ceramics. Round 97 got a little bit close, but it always got close. On 98, I had to survive with a fairly late sabotage, a mid-round overdrive, and a very late glue storm. This is the only way I found to actually beat 98 consistently, and it was to use a glue storm very late. I used it so late here that I was worried if I would even have it up for 99. I just barely did, which saved the run. Here, some, entire MOABs end up going to the right side, but Solver kind of just sniped them. Yeah, here I was wondering if I was going to get glue stormed for 99. I barely did, which is crazy. I barely had enough money to buy 2 extra overdrives for round 100. They were the only way I could actually beat the round easily. And I guess it worked. Right here you will see round 100 get destroyed by a Brute Drive army. And glue storm, I guess, but ignore that part. I use a second glue storm on round 100, just so I have it for the DDTs on the inside. And the ZMGs, I guess. And boom! With that, I got the black border on Flowery Orchard. At the time this run was done, this was actually the hardest black border, or the highest list map that had been black bordered, which is pretty cool. It has been beaten now, unfortunately, but still a pretty cool run. This run was actually pretty easy. It only took me a few hours to test, which is